Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for being here today, especially to our professor in EM213 Advanced Administration, Dr. Manuel Roman. And I am Rovelyn B. Donato. And before we delve into the details of our topic, I hope our lesson for today will enlighten all of us on some key aspects of this subject, which I believe will provide valuable insights for us as educators. But before that, allow me first to introduce to you our learning objectives. First is to analyze the financial structures and models for funding school buildings and maintenance. Second, evaluate the impact of budget allocation on school operations and sustainability. And the last one, develop comprehensive financial plans for school maintenance and operating expenses. Our topic for today is all about financing the school buildings and school sites, maintenance and operating expenses. The importance of financing school buildings, school sites, and their maintenance and operating expenses are fundamental to the delivery of quality education and the long-term success of any educational system. It is essential for fostering a thriving educational environment. It ensures that schools are not only functional but also inspiring places that nurture learning, growth, and community pride. A commitment to sustained funding reflects society's recognition of education as a cornerstone of personal and collective success. Ibig sabihin nito, mahalagang ang bawat paaralan ay mayroong nakalaan na pondo upang masiguradong epektibo, ligtas at dekalidad ang edukasyon na maibibigay sa mga mag-aaral. Ito ay hindi lamang isang usapin ng pagpapatayo ng pisikal na infrastruktura, ito ay isang pamumuhunan sa kinabukasan ng mga kabataan at ng buong komunidad. Sa sapat na financing, masisigurado ang isang ligtas, komportable at dekalidad na kapaligiran para sa mga mag-aaral, na siyang magbibigay daan sa kanilang tagumpay at sa pag-unlad ng ating bansa. Now, let us discuss about school buildings. The availability of an acceptable building is an important requirement for the operation of a school. To be acceptable, a building shall be safe, sanitary, and adequate. A safe school building is structurally stable to resist lateral forces such as strong winds and earthquakes. Mahalaga ding isaalang-alang ang paglalaan ng budget o pondo sa mga school buildings, at masasabing ito ay isang mahalagang hakbang upang matiyak na ang mga mag-aaral at mga guro ay may akses sa ligtas, maayos at modernong kapaligiran na kinakailangan para sa epektibong edukasyon. Ito ay hindi lamang isang pangangailangan ng paaralan, kundi isang pamumuhunan sa kinabukasan na rin ng mga kabataan at sa pangkalahatang kaunlaran ng isang lipunan. It is important that the school buildings is free from structural defects and deficiencies so as to resist distortion and rapid deterioration. Its design and construction shall include provisions for fire resistance, fire prevention, as well as against accidents, provisions for persons with disability, and other necessary facilities to secure it against thieves, stray animals, or intruders. Kinakailangan din na ang mga school building sa bawat paaralan ay kailangang maayos ang pagkakagawa at wala dapat mga structural defects o depekto upang hindi ito mabilis masira o magkaproblema. Kasama rin dito ang mga hakbang upang maiwasan ang aksidente at tiyakin na may mga pasilidad para sa mga taong may kapansanan. At dagdag pa rito, kinakailangan ding isama ang mga pamamaraan para maprotektahan ang gusali laban sa mga magnanakaw at mga intruders. So ang lahat din ng ito ay upang masigurado ang kaligtasan at proteksyon ng mga estudyante, guro at iba pang mga tao sa bawat paaralan. Financing of school building and school sites. The school building program under Basic Educational Facilities Fund or the BEFF of the Department of Education aims to address the classroom gaps in high-priority schools nationwide. The BEFF was incorporated in the General Appropriations Act or the GAA starting year 2013. Budget sources for school building. Regular School Building Program or the RSBP In accordance with Republic Act 7880 or the Equitable Access to Basic Education Law, school building program for areas experiencing acute classroom shortage. These sources of funding are carefully allocated to ensure that school buildings are built to be safe, accessible, and conducive to learning in line with the goals of the Revised School Building Program or the RSBP. The importance of budget sources for school buildings under the Revised School Building Program lies in ensuring that adequate financial resources are available for the construction, maintenance, and upgrading of educational infrastructures. This is crucial for creating safe, conducive learning environments. In short, having adequate and diversified budget sources ensures that the RSBP can fulfill its goal of providing quality, safe, and modern school infrastructures that benefit students, teachers, and the entire community. Now, we will discuss the school site standard requirements. The school site standards are essential not only for operational reasons, but also to create an environment that supports the safety, growth, and development of students. Well-planned school sites positively impact the overall education experience for everyone involved. The importance of school site standards reveal their fundamental role in shaping the educational experience. These requirements are not just technical guidelines or bureaucratic necessities. They are the backbone of a safe, inclusive, and effective learning environment. When we think about the safety of students and staff, the significance of meeting standards become even clearer. Standards are designed to ensure that the physical structure of a school isn't just functional, but actively supports the well-being of everyone within it. For example, having a secure entry points, fire safety measures, and clear evacuation routes might seem like basic requirements, but they are crucial in preventing and responding to emergencies. A safe school site is not just about avoiding accidents, but creating an environment where students feel protected and ready to focus on their education without fear or distraction. First is the location or the environment. The location of the school affects its development of operation. In determining the location of the school site, accessibility and suitable surrounding environment are important considerations. Isang napakahalagang desisyon ang pagpili ng lokasyon at kapaligiran ng isang school site. Hindi lamang ang kalidad ng mga guro o ang mga kurikulum ang nagtatakda ng tagumpay ng isang paaralan, kundi pati na rin ang pisikal na kalagayan ng paaralan at ang kapaligiran nito. Mahalaga ang lokasyon at kapaligiran ng isang paaralan sa bawat aspeto ng edukasyon, mula sa kaligtasan at kalusugan ng mga mag-aaral hanggang sa pag-unlad ng kanilang mga kakayahan. Ang isang paaralang may tamang lokasyon ay nagbibigay ng kaligtasan sa mga mag-aaral at mga guro. Kung ang isang paaralan ay nasa isang lugar na may mataas na krimen o malapit sa mapanganib na industriya, maaaring magdudulot ito ng takot at pangamba sa mga mag-aaral. Sa kabilang banda, ang isang paaralang matatagpuan sa isang tahimik at ligtas na komunidad ay nagbibigay ng kapayapaan sa isipan ng mga magulang at nagiging positibong impluwensya sa mga mag-aaral. Ang lokasyon ay may malalim na epekto sa mental na kalusugan ng mga mag-aaral at ang kanilang kaligtasan ay isang pangunahing konsiderasyon sa pagpili ng isang school site. The second one is the design and safety standards. School buildings and other structures must strictly follow standard technical specifications. Building Code of the Philippines 2005, National Structural Code of the Philippines 2005. The National Structural Code of the Philippines 2001 has specific provisions for wind load and earthquake design. Sa katunayan, ang mga design at safety standards ay nagsisilbing mga gabay upang matiyak na ang bawat aspeto ng isang paaralan mula sa layout ng mga silid-aralan hanggang sa mga emergency procedures ay nakatugon sa pangangailangan ng kaligtasan, kalusugan, at komportableng pagkatuto para sa mga mag-aaral at mga guro. The design and safety standards of a school site are integral to fostering an environment that promotes learning, safety, and inclusivity. When these standards are followed, schools not only meet legal requirements but also create a nurturing space where students can thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. The right combination of safety, design, accessibility, and sustainability will contribute significantly to the success of both students and educators. Third is the accessibility. A school site must be easily accessible to the greatest number of pupils or students it intends to serve. Accessibility is one of the most important factors in designing a school site, ensuring that it is easily reachable and usable for all students, including those with physical disabilities. When a school is accessible, it helps promote inclusivity, equality, and a positive learning environment for every student. When schools prioritize accessibility, they foster a culture of equality and respect that benefits the entire community. The last one is the topography. The contour of the land shall be preferably level and have no irregular boundaries. The topography of the school site plays a key role in ensuring the safety, functionality, and sustainability of the campus. A level, well-planned site reduces risk, makes construction and maintenance more manageable, and creates an environment conducive to learning and growth. It's essential to carefully evaluate the topography during the planning to ensure long-term success. Now, let's dive deeper to our discussion. Let us proceed to the mode of acquisition of school sites. The mode of acquisition refers to the methods through which the land is obtained, and it can vary depending on the local regulations, the availability of land, and the budget available for the project. Schools and educational authorities must carefully assess each option, weighing the benefits and challenges to ensure that the site is obtained in a cost-effective, legally sound, and timely manner. The mode of acquisition of school sites plays a crucial role in shaping the success and sustainability of the educational institution. Each method, whether it's purchasing, leasing, receiving land grants, or public-private partnership, has its own set of advantages, challenges, and long-term impacts. First mode of acquisition is the so-called purchase. This is the most reliable, stable, and non-controversial mode of acquisition. A school site may be acquired by direct purchase from the legal owner who voluntarily sells it on an agreed price. Purchasing is indeed a straightforward and often secure way to acquire property, as it involves a legal transaction between the seller and the buyer. This method provides clarity on ownership, provided all terms are clearly agreed upon and the proper legal processes are followed. So, the fact that the seller voluntarily agreed to the price and terms further minimizes conflict, since both parties have the opportunity to negotiate and come to an agreement that is fair to them. This can be particularly beneficial for ensuring that the school receives the right kind of property for its needs, without the complications that might arise from more contentious means of acquisition, such as expropriation or eminent domain. The following are the source of funds for the purchase mode of acquisition. A. Capital outlays of the department. B. Local school board fund. And letter C. Appropriation by the LGU. When it comes to the capital outlays for purchasing school sites, this generally refers to the allocated funds or budget set aside for acquiring land or property. These funds are often sourced from the government's budget or other designated channels. In many cases, these decisions depend on the specific policies and regulations in place for educational funding within the country or region. It's important for the school department to plan effectively, ensuring the funds are available and the payment method aligns with their long-term financial planning. Local school boards funds for the purchase of school sites, so there are several key aspects to consider, both in terms of fund sources and modes of payment. By using a combination of these sources and payment methods, local school boards can plan and finance the acquisition of land for school sites while maintaining fiscal responsibility. And for the appropriation by LDLGU for the purchase of school sites, it's clear that this process is essential for ensuring the local governments can provide the necessary infrastructure to support education. It demonstrates the responsibility of LGUs in planning and allocating resources to meet the needs of their communities, particularly in growing areas where the demand for new school sites is high. The second mode of acquisition is the donation. It may either be simple, conditional, inter vivos, or mortis causa. A simple donation is one whereby a person disposes gratuitously of a piece of land in favor of the municipality, city, province, or the Republic of the Philippines. It's evident that this approach carries both significant advantages and unique challenges. Donations, whether from individuals, corporations, or organizations, plays a crucial role in funding school site acquisitions, especially in areas where government funding is limited or where there is a strong community desire to support education. The concept of inter vivos donations as a mode of payment for school sites, we can see that this approach where property is donated during the lifetime of the donor, rather than through a will or testament, offers a unique opportunity to both the donor and the recipient. An inter vivos donation is the Latin for between the living, involves the direct transfer of ownership, and when applied to the acquisition of school sites, it can have profound implications for the development of educational infrastructure and community engagement. On mortis causa donations, or the donations made through a will effective upon the donor's death, as a mode of payment for school sites, this approach presents a different dynamic compared to inter vivos donations. Mortis causa donations are often seen as legacy gift where the donor's intention is to provide for the future of education even after their passing. This mode of donation introduces both benefits and challenges what are worth considering in the context of acquiring land for educational purposes. The following are the procedures for acquiring a school site through donation. First is the execution of a deed of donation. Specifically regarding the execution of a deed of donation, it's essential to recognize the significance of this legal process in ensuring the success and lawful transfer of property. The deed of donation acts as a formal and binding document that facilitates the transfer of the donated land to the school or educational institution. It is a critical step in ensuring or securing school sites through donations, and understanding its implications is important for both the donor and the recipient institution. Next is the acceptance of the donation by the donee. So we can appreciate how crucial this step is in ensuring the donation is valid, properly executed, and meaningful. While the donor initiates the act of giving, the donee's acceptance is the key to formalizing the donation and making it effective. This stage not only has legal implications, but also reflects the school's responsibility and commitment to using the land in a way that aligns with the donor's intentions and the school's long-term goals. Another procedure is the acknowledgement in writing by the donor. This step plays a crucial role in formalizing and ensuring the legitimacy of the donation process. The donor's written acknowledgement serves as an official and recognized declaration of their intent to give the land to the school, and it offers clarity, transparency, and protection for both parties involved. This step not only secures the legal standing of the donation, but also sets a tone of mutual respect and trust between the donor and the school. Next is the issuance of the opinion of the fiscal regarding the validity of the deed of donation. We can see how this step ensures the legal soundness and transparency of the donation process. The opinion of the fiscal, often provided by the legal counsel or the public attorney's office, serves as an official review that validates the legality of the donation and the deed itself. This process plays a crucial role in guaranteeing that the donation follows proper legal protocols, protects the rights of both the donor and the school, and complies with relevant laws and regulations. The last one is the registration of the deed of donation with the Registry of Deeds. So it is the final and essential step that provides public notice of the donation and effectively establishes the school as the legal owner of the land. This process offers several legal, administrative, and practical benefits that help ensure the school's future use of the land is protected. The third mode of acquisition is the so-called contract of usufruct. In case the property is registered in the name of an individual, province, city, municipality, or barangay, but it is not allowed to be donated, but DepEd or the school is allowed full use or perpetual right of use through gratuitous act or without consideration, a contract of usufruct with the registered owner for as long as the property is to be solely and inclusively used for educational purposes is executed. The usufruct arrangement can offer many advantages. There are certain conditions and limitations that the school should carefully consider. The duration of the contract is one such factor, as the school may need access to the land for many years or even decades. So therefore, it is crucial to negotiate the terms of the usufruct agreement to ensure that the school has long-term access to the land and the terms are clear regarding the renewal or termination of the contract. Additionally, there may be restrictions on how the school can use the land depending on the specific conditions set by the landowner. The contract may outline how the school can build on the property, what improvements are allowed, or what kind of activities can take place. For example, the donor may place conditions on the type of construction of or the modifications the school can undertake, specifically if the land is part of a larger estate or if the landowner wants to maintain certain uses or characteristics of the property. The fourth mode of acquisition is the so-called expropriation. Private land desired for school purposes may be acquired through expropriation proceedings. This method stands as a powerful but contentious approach in acquiring land for public purposes, including the establishment of educational institutions. Expropriation refers to the legal process by which a government or authorized entity takes private property for public use, typically with compensation provided to the property owner, while it offers a means to secure land when other options such as purchasing or donation are not viable. The process can be a complex, emotionally charged, and legally intricate. Expropriation proceedings as a source of funds for the mode of payment of school sites highlights the crucial role that the legal and procedural aspects play in facilitating the acquisition of land for public educational purposes. However, the process itself is complex, legally intensive, and carries potential for public controversy, especially when landowners feel that their property rights are being infringed upon. The principle of just compensation is at the heart of expropriation. It ensures that landowners are fairly compensated for the loss of their property, reflecting its market value or the highest and best use of the land. For schools, this principle is vital as to ensure that the process remains fair and just, preventing the government or public institutions from taking advantage of property owners. The fifth Mode of acquisition is the barter or exchange. An existing school site may be exchanged for a new site for justifiable reasons. This may be resorted to with the school administrators exercising care and caution that in exchange process, the government, so the DepEd or the school, will stand to gain and not to lose in the transaction since the lots being exchanged may not be of the same size and or the same value. Barter or exchange as a source of funds for the mode of payment for school sites provides an interesting perspective on how public institutions like schools can acquire land without a traditional cash transactions. Instead of purchasing the land with financial resources, a school or government entity might offer something of value in return for the land, such as another property or assets. This approach, while less common than purchasing or donation, brings unique benefits and challenges to the process. So, while barter can be an effective tool in acquiring land for schools, it requires carefully planning, property evaluation, and community engagement to ensure fairness and avoid potential conflicts. Number 6, mode of acquisition is the presidential proclamation. Public lands declared as reservation areas, so including ancestral lands, through presidential proclamation are sometimes targeted as sites for educational purposes. So the presidential proclamation can be used to designate certain lands for public use, which may include the establishment of schools among other public infrastructures. This approach is an important tool that helps schools secure land for development, but it comes with its own set of implications, both positive and negative. To maximize the success of acquiring school land through a presidential proclamation, schools and governments must ensure transparency, engage with the community, and address any concerns related to land ownership or displacement. If handled correctly or carefully, this process can facilitate the creation of new educational spaces and help meet the growing demand for schools in underserved areas. The last mode of acquisition is the so-called gratuitous conveyance. Real property belonging to the government when needed for school purposes may be conveyed by the way of gift, sale, lease, or exchange. It is an interesting and often underexplored method within the realm of educational development. This concept refers to the voluntary transfer of property, such as land, without any financial compensation or exchange. In the context of school sites, it can take the form of a donor or government entity offering land to educational institutions as a contribution toward public welfare, often in the interest of improving access to education. And that's all about financing school buildings and school sites. I hope that you will continue watching as we go along with our next topic about maintenance and other operating expenses. So here are the contents of this topic. The DepEd Guidelines for Liquidation of School MOOE. Number 1, what is MOOE? Number 2, uses of MOOE. Number 3, various forms used in liquidation of MOOE. Number 4, various proof of receipts. Number 5, other accounts. Number 6, fidelity bond expenses. Number 7, other office supplies expenses. Number 8, other MOOE expenses. And number 9, things to remember when liquidating the MOOE. So, isa sa mga public funds ay ang tinatawag na MOOE. Sa pagbabudget ng MOOE, we should follow the law. Hindi pwedeng gagastusin ng pera ng gobyerno na hindi nakasaad sa batas. Kung saan allotted ang budget ay doon dapat gagastusin ito. So ano nga ba ang MOOE o yung tinatawag na Maintenance and Other Operating Expenses? So ang MOOE is the allocated funds for public elementary and secondary schools that can be spent on activities and necessities. Examples is the electricity and water bill that support learning programs and help maintain a safe and healthy environment in schools. So, ang MOE ay isa sa controversial sa ating paaralan every month. Tama po ba? So, ito ay ginagamit o ginagasta natin para sa mga activities at pangangailangan ng ating paaralan, gaya ng electricity, water bills at iba pa. Para ito sa quality education ng ating mga learners. So, ang MOE ay dapat may return of investment or yung tinatawag nating ROI para sa learning outcome. Kung ano ang nasa EIP o sa plan ay dapat doon gagastusin ang ating MOE. Ang anumang activities ng school at pangangailangan ay dapat nasa work and financial plan. Next, what are the uses of school MOE? First, to fund activities as identified in the approved school improvement plan or yung tinatawag nating SIP for implementation in the current year and as specifically determined in the annual implementation plan or the EIP of the school. So, lahat ng mga activities na nakalagay sa SIP or AIP ang paglalagyan o paggagastuhan ng budget ng MOE. Sa pagpaplano dapat daw kasali ang teachers. At alam ng mga teachers kung magkano at saan gagastusin o gagamitin ang budget sa MOE. Dapat ma-consult muna ang mga persons involved like teachers. So ideally, all of us teachers ay dapat involved in planning and budgeting. Katulad sa school namin, tinatanong kami ng school head namin kung ano nga ba ang needs namin by grade level para susunod na buwan. Second is to support expenses for school-based training and activities that are selected or designed to address the most critical needs that will improve learning outcomes. So, kasali din dapat sa budget ang school-based trainings and activities to improve learning outcomes. Pero sa katotohanan, hindi po ito laging nasusunod. And usually ay ang school paper or journalism training ang alam kong nabibigyan ng budget ng MOE. Third, to finance expenses pertaining to graduation rites, moving up, or closing ceremonies and recognition activities. Dito naman lahat ng gagastusin sa graduation, moving up and recognition like resource speaker, decoration ng stage, rental ng chairs o pagbili ng medals and ribbons at kung ano-ano pa ay dapat kasali sa budget ng MOE. Fourth is to procure school supplies and other consumables for teachers and students deemed necessary in the conduct of classes. Isa sa uses ng MOE ay ang pagbili ng school supplies gaya ng bond paper, ballpen, ink, tape at kung ano-ano pa. Ang consumables ay nakalagay sa distribution list at pipirma po ang teachers doon. So nakalagay kung ilan ang kanyang natanggap, ilang rim at ilang piraso at kung ano-ano pa. In terms of school supplies or consumables, bawal ang hiwa-hiwalay ng pictures. So, bawal ang nakakollage kung ano ang nakalagay sa resibo, ayun din dapat ang nasa pictures. Ang pictures po ay dapat readable and countable daw. Nakikita at nabibilang kung ilan ang laman ng boxes at iba pa. Another thing is dapat may timestamp, date and time sa picture na congruent sa resibo. Ganun po kahigpit ngayon sa MOE. Number 5 is to fund minor repairs of facilities, building and grounds maintenance and the upkeep of the school. Dito po ay minor repairs lang po ang pinapayagan sa MOE. May timestamp sa pictures na binili at may date and time na congruent sa resibo. Ang pictures ay dapat before, during, and after. And again, lahat ng binili na nasa pictures ay readable and countable. Number 6 is to pay for wages of full-time janitorial, transportation, or mobility and security services. So dito po ginagamit din ang MOE sa pagbayad ng janitorial fee, transportation or gasoline kung mayroon pong sasakyan ng ating school. Number 7 is to pay for utilities and communication expenses. So, isa pa sa uses ng MOE ay ang pagbayad sa utilities, PLDTs at iba pa. So, for example, may cellphone po yung ating principal at naglo-load siya. So, kasama din po ito sa budget ng MOE kasi for communication purposes po ito. Number 8, in no case shall be school MOE be used for the procurement of school furniture such as seats and teachers' tables and chairs, and textbooks and other instructional materials, even if these expenditures are contained in the SIP. So, bawal pong gamitin ang MOE ng pambili ng mga sumusunod. Ito yung mga upuan, teacher's table, books, at iba pang mga instructional materials kasi provided ito ng DepEd kapag nagbigay po sila ng mga classrooms. So, here are the various forms used in liquidation of MOOE. So, meron po tayong Form 2306 and 2307 na form. Ngayon daw po, ginagamit na ang 2307 na form. So, dalawang form ang gagamitin kung non-VAT and serviceable, isang 2% at isang 1%. Ito naman po ang mga nangangailangan ng proof of receipts na ginagamit sa iba't ibang expenses ng ating school. Una po ay ang traveling expenses, training and seminars expenses, office supplies expenses, electricity expenses, telephone expenses, security expenses and janitorial, repair and maintenance for school buildings, and payment for labor cost, so 30% of purchased materials. So here are the supporting documents for traveling expenses for local. So meron dapat na approved itinerary of travel as stated in Appendix A and B. Narito naman po ang supporting documents for trainings and seminars expenses. So, tandaan lang po natin na magkabukod po in conducting trainings at attending trainings na mga supporting documents. Narito naman po ang lahat ng supporting documents for office supplies and expenses na less than 2,000 and above 2,000 pesos. Dito naman po nakasulat ang lahat ng supporting documents for electricity and telephone expenses. For security and janitorial expenses, so narito naman po ang supporting documents and payment for labor cost na 30% of purchased materials. At narito naman po ang supporting documents for repair and maintenance for school buildings for purchase of materials na less than 2,000 pesos and 2,000 pesos and above. And for other accounts, narito naman po ang mga kinakailangang mga documents for repair and maintenance for ICT, internet subscription expenses, and printing and publication expenses. Another is the fidelity bond expenses. So ano nga ba yung fidelity bond expenses? So it is in form of business insurance that offers an employer's protection against losses that are caused by its employer fraudulent or dishonesty action. So, nariyan naman po ang mga supporting documents. So, again, for other office supplies and expenses supporting documents for less than 2,000 pesos and above 2,000 pesos. And here are the other supporting documents for other expenses na pwedeng isi-shoulder ng ating MOOE. So, sa lahat po ng supporting documents na pinakita ko kanina, ay mayroon pa rin po itong ibang attachments. Katulad ng liquidation report na 3 copies, MOOE payroll na 2 copies, disbursement voucher, cash disbursement register, additional requirements as deemed necessary to support the validity of claims. So, in liquidating MOOE, there are things to remember. Number 1, for thermal receipts, have them photocopied. Number 2, be mindful of the receipt's expiration or the validity. Number 3, receipts should be written in black or blue pens only. Number 4, assorted groceries or items in the receipt is not allowed or accepted. Number 5, no alteration of OR or the official receipt. Number 6, the cluster members shall submit their liquidations to their respective cluster heads with 1 original copy for COA and 1 second copy for accounting. And number 7, all liquidations of each cluster must be filed in one folder only according to the sequence of schools in the payroll. And liquidation should be submitted a week prior to the set of deadline. So sabi daw po nila, bawal daw po ang malate sa pag-submit ng MOE documents kasi kasali daw po ito sa computation ng ating PBB or yung ating performance-based. In conclusion, the financing of school buildings, sites, and maintenance is a challenge that requires strategic planning, long-term investment, and collaboration between local governments, school boards, and communities. By prioritizing efficient use of resources, securing diverse funding sources, and maintaining a proactive approach to upkeep, we can ensure that our schools remain safe, functional, and conducive to learning for generations to come. Moving forward, it is essential to continue advocating for sustainable funding models and innovative solutions to meet the evolving needs of educational infrastructure. And that's the end of my topic. Thank you for your participation today. I hope this report provided valuable insights and sparked new ideas. If you have any further questions or would like to discuss any aspect in more detail, please feel free to reach out. Your feedback is always appreciated, and I look forward to continuing the conversation. Again, thank you so much for listening.